Hello, this is Dr. C, and I'm with the Two Docs Mind. I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever read through job notification or a job advertisement and read through the whole thing and found by the time you ended up at the end of the posting, you found a way to convince yourself not to apply to that job? But the whole reason why you actually read the whole job description is because you were interested in the first place. What drives us to convince ourselves where we feel like we do not deserve to apply to a particular gig? I have done this many times throughout my career. In my career, I have looked at jobs and I said, oh my gosh, they want this, they want that, maybe I shouldn't apply. And by the end of the review process, and I've looked at the job advertisement, I convinced myself, I have told myself, somehow, some way, I should not be applying to this particular gig. So if you're like me, you have probably lost out on a lot of great opportunities and a lot of great organizations. I wonder why we do that to ourselves. I think it has a lot to do with confidence. A lack of confidence can prevent us from taking advantage of a lot of opportunities that we have in front of us. Very, very relatable to me when it comes to reading how a job description reads in an advertisement, because, someone has sat down, they have took a full inventory of a particular job, and they use these very strategic words and language to probably attract a certain group of people. And this, again, is probably one of the mistakes. You start to analyze the job description. And this, again, becomes a pitfall that we all fail to avoid because we've already took ourselves out of the game before the game even started. For me, what I've learned is to just go ahead and just participate. Don't make assumptions about that particular job so much. I tried to learn over time as I started to go after certain opportunities, whether I win or lose. I say go for the opportunity, because I'd rather hear no than not be in the game, not hear anything at all. I think it's important for us to challenge ourselves and to make sure that we're not hurting ourselves because we are too scared or have a lack of confidence of how to accomplish our goals, essentially. So some of the things that happen for me anyway is that I try to build my confidence in other ways when I find myself falling into this pitfall. I try to make sure that I'm talking to people about my strengths and weaknesses. I try to put myself out there and make sure that I'm in the game, essentially, making sure that I'm putting myself into places where I can be critiqued about my skill set, or people can give me advice on how to put myself and brand myself in the marketplace. So there's strategies that we can all use. If we could first recognize that we do sometimes second guess ourselves when looking at certain job positions and reading through it and making assumptions about it, and then recognizing that there are tools that we could use to avoid those types of pitfalls that will allow us to take more advantage of the things that are out there and at our disposal. So if you're like me, like I said, let's be careful not to overanalyze jobs and those job descriptions, because that could lead to things that you can't even imagine. You want to be able to put yourself out there, be strong and be confident, and no telling what had happened out of making yourself vulnerable to a situation. So again, this is Cynthia, and I'm Dr. C, actually, with the Two Docs Mind. I look forward to talking to you in our next video. Thank you for listening.